Hey guys, Loki and Click You here at the Renegades. I feel like I've talked to you 4 times this morning, but apparently this is our first and I guess top of mind for me. How do you feel going into the Burrito set, them looking a bit lackluster after, taking Gangstars to a full best of 3?
That's true. We feel way more confident than HRX, especially because they struggled against Gangstars. And now, before it, HRX, they took Navi to like the last game of their best of 7. I'm not sure. And then we practiced. We made sure to watch the VODs and everything. So I feel like we got this.
And with a follow-up on that, you guys are kind of in the opposite boat where it just feels like every time you've played, you've been improving, you've been learning from your mistakes. Did all of the review and kind of playing yesterday get you more prepared for today?
Yeah, for sure. We learned where we had we learned our flaws. We learned more about the meta. We know what to do now. If someone picks our counter picks, stuff like that, we're ready for them.
What's the environment been like here over the last couple of days? North American teams have been under some pressure. Specifically, G2 comes to mind. They're not looking the same. Envy looked weird, and then they looked great. You guys have had some moments of looking okay and then looking very good. So what's just the environment you feel like here at LAN?
Got this?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, answer it.
I feel like it's like inconsistency. G2 looked really strong during the split, but some things happened. I think internally they're having internal issues, but I think that's why they're not looking so strong. Also, it's kind of like Envy. I believe that they were having some internal issues, but I think they got past it. That's why they looked really strong. I think that's the main reason.
So is that for you guys too, internal issues?
I don't think so, no.
There's not as many, I would say. But we've been also improving a lot with the past couple days here.
I kind of want to know what your feelings are. Every single time Fnatic comes through, especially after they face an NA team, they always refer to it as just another NA team. Do you guys think that you've been able to push beyond being just another NA team to them?
I don't think so. Not yet. Not yet. But we plan on it. We plan on it 100%. I think we could have done way better against them, and next time we will 100%.
Well, it's going to be an exciting kind of matchup here. Just closing thoughts as well for Burrito. What do you think is the most important aspect of your game you need to approach in the ban phase, specifically the pick phase, in order to make sure you get good matchups?
Honestly, we just have to stick to our game. That's it, pretty much.
I think the picks and bans are really what's going to be the difference maker here in this matchup. I believe both teams are really mechanically skilled, so I think the picks and bans are going to be what's going to drive the win for one of the teams.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. Get back to your scram, and we'll see you in the match soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the desk. Renegades getting ready for their big match against Burrito. Evan Rayner and Vox, or Hugh Judson here with me on the desk, and just came back from casting a great set against, Kanga and a beautiful kind of showcase of Chroma Space, who seem to be Bright Marsh experts.
They have it on lock right now for Bright Marsh. I don't think anybody could even beat them on there. Maybe if we saw that kind of Navi crazy, we're going to fire on the point, play some Tyra coming through there. But guys, we've had 2 best-of-3 sets go the distance in a row right now. Renegades versus Burrito Esports. Evan, do you think it's going to go the distance?
I do, actually. I really do. I think Renegades are poised enough and good enough and prepared enough to take a game off of Burrito. And I do think Burrito are starting to build up, not their momentum, but their confidence. I think they lost it a lot. Actually, I want to say this and let you comment. I had a talk with them a little bit, and the way that they lost that Frozen Guard game actually was very emotionally difficult for them. It was, if you know, remember that pause that happened. There was a pause or some DC things. They say that actually really impacted whether they were able to win and almost took the wind out of their sails. And so for the rest of the set, they were kind of just recovering.
That can be a bit of an issue as well. If you have to spend all of your time, all of your mental energy just resetting yourself so you're able to stabilize, then it's an issue. But they're coming off at a high, not just versus any team, versus another North American team, so they're prepared and ready for this set.
Yep, ready to go. And, of course, we had a chance to talk with the boys, Akate and Puleule, before this set. Guys, Paluli Akate here from Burrito. We just talked to the Renegades, and they're feeling pretty good going into the set. Noticing that, you know, it's been a little bit of a different tournament for you guys since HRX. Definitely a different vibe. The crowd's not here. The energy maybe not the same within this moment getting started and getting rolling. So how are you guys feeling after that kind of close set with Gangstars?
Pretty good. We have been improving our draft since we have been looking into the rematches, and we have been thinking into different situations. So pretty good. I know it has been a long time since we met Renegades in the Hi-Rez, but we are good.
Yeah, we feel pretty confident. Like, we don't underestimate any team, as I say in the previous interview, but we're still feeling confident in what we have here. You know, we practice all. We are going to do an all-in. That's all.
Yeah, I know it has been an improvement for them. So it's gonna be a hard match. You know.
So I've noticed pretty much every time you guys go into a draft, there seems to be a sniper that gets banned away specifically from you. But do you feel like that Hecate has allowed you to kind of shine on some of the other champions that you don't get to play as often? Or do you feel like it's kind of bringing everything down because you don't get one of your stronger picks?
No. I don't feel like that. I mean, obviously everybody knows me as a one-trick pony sniper, but I have more picks in the table to use. Yeah, my Talus, Leon, kind of that. But yeah, maybe there's a lot of things more than the draft and just banning the snipers, you know, but I'm still feeling confident with my picks, so I think I'm going to do pretty good if I don't have a sniper.
Okay, so I have two things here. One is you guys have played a ton of Inara and Terminus without Maldamba or Pip, notably no Pip. And that's really a lot of how they sustain so well. You're working with Genos heals, and that's not the same thing.
Yeah. No.
And so it's like you guys are really treading the line there. Why is that happening so often?
I am known as a tank who plays pretty offensive, pretty aggressive, and I'm used to get every time damage, and I am always trying to get out of sight. So I am not really looking for the healing stuff. Okay. Maybe Sadak is, so, but I'm used to it, so it's okay.
I mean, it's like every single team goes like this in our Pip, in our Maldamba, but we want to break that. We have our own meta, you know. We like to pick our stuff. We were the first team, I think, that started playing Kinesa on the early on Paladins tournament. So we know that everybody likes to play Genos with flanker, but what happened if you're a team that with this meta that you love playing flankers, you love playing mid, I take you out the Genos, for example. There's a lot of stuff that we're trying right now, even in the tournament. But you know, Crimson is amazing support. He can play everything, and if Crimson say, yeah, I can play Genos, even if we have two big tanks on our team, then it's the goal, man, you know.
Really exciting. We can't wait to see you guys play against Renegades. Thanks for talking to us, and hopefully we'll be talking to you after the game as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
That poor table.
I don't know. I feel like Burrito are about ready to bang this set out real fast. Maybe they got some Donkey Kong bongo controllers going on at the desk. That is a bit of a tongue twister there I wasn't expecting, but they seem pretty confident, pretty set. And against Renegades and their drafting style, which they have now had the chance to witness and experience a little bit of by proxy of Gangstars as well, another North American team, I wouldn't feel too underconfident in Burrito's shoes right now. I'd say, okay, well, we kind of fell a little bit short of it in that Gangstars set, but got the opportunity to figure out what we did wrong and come back into things.
I think at this point, though, you have to make kind of a very clear statement in your tournament run. I mean, both teams right here, obviously you're going home if you lose, but to the winner, you have to also say, I am here with my team, prepped, ready. We are prepared to take on the Navis, the Fanatics. Yet we haven't really seen a team that's been that clean, except maybe Space Station. Outside of the European region, Envy had that real big mishap earlier in the spring finals, but now are looking much better. And I think these two teams have been warming up. They've been leveling up, so to speak. And on Fish Market, where teams go to lose, they are going to go to win for their first map of the set.
This is a really bizarre pick, actually, just in terms of maps. What this says to me more than anything else is that initially, depending on who gets actually this first pick here, one of the teams does want to actually go straight ahead and move the enemy out of their comfort zone.
And, at this day and age, when you have comfort zones that you're used to playing with, what it does is it means that you can translate that comfort zone hopefully more often onto your side of the draft. Really, Renegades, it said, it's about who gets a better draft, a more comfortable draft, and that's going to decide this game. When you have multiple zones you're comfortable in, whereas you see a lot of teams not comfortable in the blaster zone where that's carrying with a Bomb King or a Drogos, or maybe not too comfortable with the hit scan, but they love the bow pressure. Those types of things, if Burrito can get more of those zones in their side of the draft, I think they're going to do well against Renegades here. But I do not expect to see Kinessa available at all for Hecate almost this entire tournament.
I don't expect to see Strix available either, and that's a big thing coming through here. You got to remember that actually Burrito Esports did just come out of a win on this map specifically, so they may already be feeling themselves, and as a result, I wouldn't expect to not see target bans coming through from Renegades here in that regard, and maybe some target picks to strip them away from Burrito as well. So far taken off the table, Maeve, Kinessa, Ruckus, and now Renegades are left with a bit of a difficult situation going, well, there's Makoa, there's Cassie available at this point as well. We could go for a double sniper ban and take the Strix away. There's Lian, a lot of different picks which Burrito do excel at here. I do expect the Makoa ban to come through, but it's actually Inara. So this is Renegades saying, you know what? You can take one of them. You can take the Cassie or the Makoa, and we'll get the other one here. So they're kind of splitting those high prioritization picks.
I think it's just a smart bet. They haven't seen Makoa really taken by Burrito. It's been Cassie every single time. And now Renegades get Makoa and Shaolin if they want it. They're going to also opt for the Strix, which Loki has proven himself on. And Renegades now in the driver's seat, I think, in terms of this draft. Burrito, I expect a Genos here and something like a Terminus, to be honest.
Honestly, I'm not even
maybe
sure.
Maybe a Shaolin.
Double frontline. I expect Burrito to just enable a triple DPS composition right here and right now. Maybe even grab something like a Xin early on as well, or a Buck, which is, as you can hear,
good on the Strix.
Behind. Very good at dealing with Strix due to Strix's low mobility. Got to be careful of that flare, though, especially with the talent name name's failed me. Unauthorized use, that's what I'm looking for. But the Terminus, too, this does give Renegades the opportunity to counter out with a Genos.
Although they lost that game on Stonekeep where Strix Flare was available, I think it was the Shaolin clearly had some trouble. Envy had to play out of his mind, but he was really revealed. So Buck, with damage reduction from a Deep Breath as well as just his tankiness, is going to do well against that unauthorized use. And Terminus taken here for Burrito gets them right back in the pocket of where Sadak feels comfortable.
So Renegades, a couple of picks coming up for them next. They need extra frontline if they don't want to go triple DPS, or they're going to grab the Maldamba, which is an interesting one here. So Renegades looking to go with more of a tanky composition on the front line to start off with. And here we go, Maldamba picked up Lian as well. So taking away a lot of hit scan potentially from Hecate if they want to run a triple DPS composition with 2 backline damage dealers and 1 Buck flank. So Burrito now have a difficult situation to deal with. What do they go for? What kind of composition do they elect to choose?
Well, Puleule likes to be aggressive, and Fernando Pick is screaming at me not only because of the ability for him to mobilize his troops and get around corners here, but to pressure the backline. Leon and Strix, they cannot deal with that fireball constantly if it is just firing in their face, and then they're going to have to look at the Buck, then they're going to have to look at the Cassie. So as I expected, it's the Genos, it's the Fernando, and now Renegades kind of erring on the side of a triple DPS, but don't have a Genos to pair it with.
I don't expect them to run triple DPS to be here to be.
You don't think a Zen, maybe?
I'm wondering if I don't expect the Zen paired with a Maldamba, not with this style of composition. I'm honestly half expecting a Khan, just eliminate the Terminus immediately, which is a strategy that was employed in that set versus Burrito previously, and Renegades might be able to put that to good use here.
It could be. It could be. I mean, there's actually a ton of ways Renegades could go. You're looking at your Khan or your Barrack, though, and they may just figure that the value is in swapping more towards damage and aggressiveness.
I feel like the Khan has a little bit more value here, though, because not just can you throw people off the map, you do have the ability to break Fernando's shield with Commander's Grab, which allows less time spent shooting shields, more time applying anti-heal to the rest of the enemy team.
The only issue that you're working at is just how do you get to Cassie if Buck is dealing with Strix, and then Leon is the only one left to apply damage onto your Cassie, onto your Buck, onto your Terminus, onto your Fernando. So at this point, you send Makoa, and you hopefully Barrack can stand on the point as well as he did with Fnatic versus Na'Vi.
It did work out then. Part of that is me wondering if it's just a testament to how well these very high-end players can just straight up aim with Barrack, especially with that tinkering talent, which is what I would expect to be taken on a map with like Fish Market, where everything's spread out so far. You want to be able to hit these precise shots, deal good damage, but also as well, you can deal with the shields particularly well as Barrack with Rekka.
Well, let's see what happens. I can't wait to get into this and watch Game 1 starting in our third set of the day. It's Burrito and Renegades, so casters, take it away.
All right. Another round of our Burrito boys, this time against Renegades.
And I feel like they're feeling a lot better. Definitely some smiles through there. They were saying actually after that interview earlier that they were feeling kind of shook yesterday after their loss. So coming into today, getting a win, and then going to a map that I'm assuming they feel comfortable on since they won their set on this earlier, feeling a little bit more relaxed here against Renegades.
Rarely do we actually get to start a set on Fish Market. Nonetheless, in a best of 3, actually. So it was still somewhat of a surprise during that set earlier today. But here we are, and it's actually Renegades that are running the Strix.
It's going to be interesting to see how they go for it. I mean, obviously the buck is pretty much just to get back there, and Crimson not going to be running anything too wild on this Genos this time around, so it's going to be a little bit more straightforward in terms of gameplay. But you have to fight into the Strix, you have to fight into this Death and Taxes Leon as well. A lot of hit scan that can do a lot at range compared to Burrito.
Fuzzy Logic has been working a lot on his flank potential. You see him on traditional damage as well as flank. And even though they got that loss on Stone Keep, I still do commend his positioning on that Xin, and now taking Buck, which is very different playstyle, but still you need to make sure that you're actually acquiring the right targets. Positioning up nice. That was a great way to start this off with a hit. Loki on the Strix.
Immediately just keeping some pressure down, making sure that Burrito can't show their head too far, but coming around the side, Sadak and Fuzzy Logic together. And it looks like they're trying to encompass all of Renegades, but Renegades are just getting aggressive. They take out Pule Ule.
So that's one frontliner down on the side of Burrito. Gonna have a little bit of a delay. No one has made their way to the objective just yet. You see that the Makoa just stepped onto it for Renegades, but Fuzzy Logic rotating to the back line, sees a Leon to his left, decides to go to the right. A nice shot onto Poison, but the reload getting a bit of a delay, but finally gets the last hit.
Playing it maybe a little bit too close. One big miss in there, but either way, towards the end of it, he was able to pick up the kill, and now they can start getting aggressive, especially with those two. It's been kind of a weird trade, weird positioning coming down from Burrito. Very spread out early on, but now they're back into it. They're getting aggressive, and they push Renegades away and taking back control of this point.
27% climbing for Burrito. Hero rotating around, and actually nice use of this high ground, setting up the turrets. It allows you to try and catch anybody that tries to flank you, and Fuzzy Logic picks one up onto the enemy sustain. Viral being down is a huge opportunity, and actually bringing that scout out as well to capitalize.
And honestly, this is actually really big. The only person who's really close right now is ClickU on this Makoa, and even then he's falling back. They're going to be able to kind of come in, capture that clean after that little bit of a rough start. Everything kind of coming up the way they wanted it to. And I feel like that was part of the plan. Even though they ended up losing Pule Ule, it wasn't all ideal for them, but that pincer really worked out the way they wanted it to.
And because now Renegades, they want to switch as quickly as possible to that defense, but Burrito sent everybody that was up aggressively into their face, and that's what allows this payload to trickle past the first choke, and is actually in a decent spot before it starts on that regression. Hecate running into some hits, but still able to survive.
And this is a spot that's actually interesting for Renegades, because Makoa, Barrick, Leon, even Maldamba to a point, don't mind fighting around this corner. Strix kind of has to lay in wait. He doesn't really want to fight on the corner trying to defend here. He's going to wait for this nice long strip that this payload's going to have to come through. And even then, he's going to have to be very careful as to where he's poking his head out, where he's showing himself, because Hecate is just scanning that horizon for his head.
And you see Renegades grouping actually behind kind of the cap of that hill. Still able to get some shots actually pretty far, and that's something that you're leaving up to Loki. But Pule Ule's been sitting on this objective, backs off for the time being because he doesn't want to give his life away all willy-nilly, but still having an impact.
And this is actually a good showcase of something that they had kind of mentioned. Playing a lot of Genos, something that Crimson's very comfortable on, very happy to have, but not a lot of healing to keep tanks like Pule Ule alive. This Fernando having a lot more trouble, I think, than he would if they had a Maldamba, something like a Pip, but it just doesn't seem to quite fill their arsenal. And because of that poison, once you apply that Death and Taxes anti-heal, it just stays there. They can't do anything to combat it.
And here we are under the 1 minute mark, and when you do apply that Death and Taxes, it's forcing Burrito to actually back off, regroup themselves. But they're quite far from the actual objective, so Renegades, this is a great moment for them to kind of set up their own standings against this lineup.
Really solid shots. This is actually a really hard hill to break through just because, I mean, they literally have the high ground in this kind of area, so they get a little bit more vision, a little bit better angles overall on like your head, the upper body. Definitely going to be able to hit shots a little bit easier, and Pule Ule feeling the brunt of that.
And actually, Barrick on the side, taking a little bit, but standing nicely behind his turret and his shield. ClickU down in the 500s of HP, but Shell Shield out of it. Stand on top of that healing. That's going to help him stay in this fight, but a Dome Shield activated by Barrick through time and space, attempting to acquire the exact location, but here's another ultimate from the wayside, and this is going to be so many kills in the favor of Renegades currently. That is 3 right there. Overtime trickling on down, and they get the defense.
And that hook from ClickU at the end was just exactly what they needed to really just drive the final nail on that coffin. It was just, we get rid of Fernando, we stop him from existing here. No one else can fill that spot. Terminus is already dead. Hecate's gone, so the burst is no longer there. And now you're kind of in this mood where not too, I want to say, unfamiliar to have a defense end up happening on Fish Market, but it definitely didn't seem like that's what Burrito wanted. They did not seem very happy.
Fish Market, Mill, things like that, you kind of expect some sort of
long
defense.
haul.
But look, 0-4, 3-1, 0-1. Nothing really too impressive stat line wise on Burrito's side, and you're not looking at the frontliners and always going to really criticize them if they don't have those last hits. It's okay, they're there just to push the objective and such, but the streaks are flying high on Renegades. They had some great opportunities during that defensive process.
And that's where it all was. A lot of the kills Burrito have under their belt were getting them that capture. That's exactly what it was. And then afterward, kind of fell off. There were some here and there, a lot of damage, a lot of poke, but Renegades didn't fall down too much. Now they've completely swapped sides. No one's touched the point just yet, but you can kind of see, again, pincering around, going into the backline, but you lose Crimson and Hecate.
It's a very similar situation to prior. ClickU was the first one to step onto the objective, but Burrito, with 2 members down, still sent their frontliners, actually, and Poison picks up a kill. Fuzzy Logic, though, dishing it back onto Loki, 18% for Burrito, and there's a reanimate to bring him back. Interesting choice to do so, but he's still getting burned on down and has to escape, but a slap on the wrist, and Hero takes him.
This is one of those moments. I feel like you should have held that either way. The team's going to do whatever they can with it. Burning down Hero as fast as they can. ClickU is low. That shield's going to be up for a little bit, and the healing coming down from this Moldava is just keeping them going so far. Even if it's just that, now an Ancient Rage to make sure his health bar gets topped off one more time.
I feel like Fuzzy Logic went around that corner and then said, oh, never mind, I got to back off because there is an angry turtle right in my face, and by backing off, actually gets a kill onto Viral. Sadak following up onto Poison, so maybe with the vision of Scout, Hecate can make a move right here, but right now you're just trying to break through the shields.
Hit him with the hard VVX, just cancel that, fall back. Burrito not in the best position. Hecate trying to do whatever he can. There's not a lot of control he can gain here. It's just a lone Cassie. A lot of damage, a lot of control that you can pick up with her in the right scenario. But this is not one of those. When you're in that 1v5, it's just not going to work out. Now the team's here. Hecate looking for better positioning. Might be able to find something, but Puleule's already almost dead.
Stemming the bleeding at 96%, but that's actually hitting to 99. And Burrito, they send some more down. Here's a dome shield, though, and that's going to be tough to try and break through. 3 down on Renegades, and Hecate is getting into the middle of the action, tries to go towards the Leon, but gets punished in the process. And now there's just a lonely Puleule waiting on the objective, but he took out Poison, and this is actually a chance for them to try and hold their own, but this overtime's much quicker.
If the percentages were flipped, Puleule single-handedly is the one that wins that point. Not quite the case. You need to stand there for another 30%, not working the way you want it to, and I feel like it's just been the story. Burrito have this strat in their head. They know what they're doing, trying to accomplish it. And Renegades, they got beat by it the first time. Second time, they're like, we know where you're going, we know what you're trying to do. We're not going to get caught out by this. They immediately were shooting at Sadak and Fuzzy Logic the minute they noticed they were coming around again.
But right now, we're actually at the 45% for Renegades, making some very decent progress. Just as the ultimate comes up for Hecate, he gets taken out. Not like the ultimate would have helped him, but it still just kind of shows that, hey, there's a little momentum going for Burrito up. Never mind, slapped right in the face. Loki showing that Strix doesn't always have to sit back and behind everything, right? He has a pistol that has decent damage, and he can get into the nitty-gritty.
And this is one of those things, I mean, we always talk about Hecate's snipers, but you can't forget Loki makes Strix look good often. He doesn't do it, I want to say, quite as much as we would see Burrito pull out the sniper, but when he does, it's still just as solid. And these shots, the way they're finding their home is exactly a showcase of it. You take it away, you make it a little bit weaker on the side of Burrito in terms of composition, and you just give yourself something you're comfortable with.
This is pretty rough right now. We're about to hit that last minute mark, and Burrito at any given time during this defense has had 1 to 3 members taken out. And right now they have everyone and actually starting off with the scout, so maybe following up, and there's it through time and space activated by Crimson, takes out Viral without that sustain. Renegades actually lose one of their frontliners as well. Poison attempting to come over this high ground, misses a couple shots, gets it into Puleule's face, but he throws up the shield.
Getting aggressive now, but Puleule's just taking so much damage. Even with that Rejuvenate 3, it's not enough to keep him topped off consistently. Loki finally getting low, finally getting eliminated, and that's going to be a good amount of space for Burrito. And you can see they want to get a little bit more aggressive, try to dismount, stop Renegades from getting back there. 30 seconds left. It's a long run from base to payload, but it's still accomplishable.
It is a long road and also so much dismount potential, and when you're in the last 15 seconds of this, yes, you have a lot of ultimates, but Burrito, they're standing all nice and full, topped off by Crimson, getting a few shots by Hero, but that's not enough to stem this as much as they need to be able to close.
A nice dash, going to be kind of dancing around. No dome shield pop just yet, and it doesn't seem like Hero's going to. He's getting enough healing to kind of stay around in the fight, get a lot of damage down, and the side shots. Crimson trying to do whatever he can to pressure out Renegades and keep this overtime alive, at least enough for his team to win.
Poison gets a kill onto Hecate, and oh no, here's a Dread Serpent from Renegades. Maybe adds a little bit of separation, but Crimson is doing the best he can to top off anybody that is still alive. Fuzzy Logic's been waiting for his moment to break through this, and I think he wants Loki, but hasn't been able to get that access. Instead, gets cut off at the seams right here in this corner, and Viral with the double kill.
Being able to pick it up, Puleule's back in the fight. Loki's the main target right now. Hecate rolls forward, something that killed him off earlier, but now he's getting aggressive, looking for the kill on the sniper, going around the side. Actually doesn't get the kill, peeks away, and might have caused a little bit too much trouble. Puleule dies because of that.
Yeah, and that was just enough, though, that Burrito needed. Yes, Puleule ended up falling immediately after, but Loki's pressure from that side was going to open the floodgates for Renegades. Instead, Burrito stops it.
That was that moment right there. Hecate, you could see him roll in, and it was one of those times where it's like, I understand, I think the mentality, the calls, don't know if he was the one who needed to be down there, because he lasted not anywhere near as long as the front lines that were already there. Would have had a better vantage point, might have been able to help deal more with that Leon around there. So it's going to be a little bit more rough. I mean, 3, 8, and 6 is not the slash line you expect him to have. And Cassie, I mean, this is something, you know, Evan's been talking about, we've been looking at it. Hasn't really been huge throughout this weekend. There's been a couple times, specifically Kanga in their last set, were phenomenal. But right now, it hasn't been anything really that's been a big breakthrough.
Well, and for Hecate, he has a very large champ pool, but I don't usually think of Cassie either when I think about his pop-off potential. There's it through time and space and actually gets some big, heavy clips, and Poison ends up falling with a follow-up from Sadak. Immortal activated by Puleule as well, so maybe with this actually just this tempo that they're controlling right now in the early part of the round, I think that's a key for them getting this early pressure.
Viral staying alive through that. I mean, he got down to 1 hit, but he was still around maybe to top off everybody, keep Renegades kind of in this corner, in this fight. Not anywhere they can get really aggressive, and as you can see, it's kind of deficit. Now 75% for Burrito, but they're starting to fight back into here. Click, you're going to be coming in, but he's already half health.
He got the Ancient Wage and actually swings away at Sadak. Puleule, the frontliners have been eliminated. Crimson, he's got to put all his focus on everyone else, but makes his way towards the objective. Fuzzy Logic falling to Loki. So that is 3 that are down and out. Renegades, no comeback mechanic available to them, but they're just picking off one by one.
Just surround them and then take them down. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Renegades stop at 84%. They had the proper breakthrough. And again, that was just one of those moments they were laying in wait. They didn't have to do much. Another Ancient Rage that was just perfect for him. Reanimate coming through. Dread Serpent thrown out. Puleule's low. Puleule's about to fall.
Luckily, he makes it to the objective in time, though, and is still staying alive much longer than most would have expected. Loki needs to hit this. Does hit the last one. Overtime looks like it's trickling on down, though. 2 down for Renegades, 1 for Burrito, and Burrito actually get the capture to come up 3-2.
And that's a big boxing match. And the fact that Loki ends up falling there took maybe a little bit longer than Fuzzy Logic wanted, but he's getting aggressive. He's getting in their face. Renegades falling back, dismount. Stop them from getting anywhere. Let this payload roll. Ride this momentum. You just took it completely away from Renegades, and now you can try to push it, close out the map, and at least have that security of 1 game up.
Here we are, 2 minutes on this push. I think both of the teams are taking the strategy when you're on the defense, whether it's by choice or not. The first part of the push has been a bit irrelevant. It's once it takes that bend around that corner, that's where the fights have really broken out. because the defense wants to take advantage of that hill. But here's Scout, here's your Diamond Space, Fuzzy Logic taking out Poison, taking out Hero, got the double. Is he gonna look for the triple? There's actually one for Hecate. Ooh, these are nice hits, and if they push this in, they actually end up taking the game, and ClickU is the only one that can hold it down. Poison luckily spawning back up, but gets dismounted right outside of the gates.
And this is exactly what they want. A nice Void Grip holds ClickU in the air. Dome Shield's going to come down, but Barrick doesn't look like he's long for this world. He's going to go down, and his turret goes with him.
So Burrito taking game number 1 against Renegades, and I tell you, it was looking tough at moments. There were times when Renegades looked like they were going to just blast on through, but Burrito, they kept their heads strong, they kept their play clean, and closed it.
Again, it kind of feels like we need to not only adapt to this meta as Burrito, which is something that they've been talking about, but play it better than the way it's getting played against them. That's been one of the big things. Cassie so far has been a huge pick, and it just doesn't quite feel the same way, I feel like, on Burrito as it does for some of the other champions that they typically run. Shaolin even looks a little bit stronger, so I'm kind of curious as to where they're going to go with this through the set.
Yeah, very different feel from these teams so far, so let's throw it back over to the desk to break it down.
Well, you finally, I mean, I heard it, and you didn't hear it because you had both headsets on, but there was a loud ruckus behind us.
I didn't realize what that was, actually. I think I heard that as well. No, they were very ecstatic to be able to win. Burrito, we are assuming. I'm not sure that Renegades would be, yeah, they pushed the payload through. We lost. Oh,
we lost.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, boys.
That's
let's
how you assert dominance on the...
Everyone's like, yeah, man, we're about to get knocked out, right?
Yay.
Yeah.
Elimination format. Let's go.
I don't think that's exactly how that went. But Burrito, they get a great win off of another composition where they run a Stagala and they don't take this Maldamba. In fact, they almost bait teams into taking it instead. They play off this Genos, they play aggressive, and really, you know, that it all comes down to that last point fight, which is maybe a bit of a lucky break on that reanimate.
Well, looking a little bit towards what they did run previously with the Genos, the Stagala, well, actually double Stagala there, they had very low self-sustaining champions, but this time around they had a Buck, which I think really helped out here because, of course, to a degree, Inara can kind of sustain herself. If she runs a loadout where she's got a lot of self-healing, that's great, but with just the Terminus, you've got to be pocket healing them quite a lot, but with the Buck especially, you can kind of leave them a little bit free. You can heal up your Cassie, you can heal up your Fernando as well, who can put out these bonus damage fireballs, and then when Buck really needs that bonus damage, you can quickly apply it and be able to capitalize, but Fuzzy Logic did such a good job at capitalizing on dangerous situations, jumping in, getting a couple of cleanup kills, or just drawing focus, as we've seen Buck do so many times so far this tournament.
And it's a good round. Round 1 is good for him. The last round is good for him. He's cleaning up a lot of kills. You know, you're really putting Buck in the lineup, I think, at this point to be your finisher. He's got the mobility to chase down someone who gets poked low. You knew that the Strix matchup was almost always going to be in his favor. The Loki really did a good job to make that interesting, and always ready for healing was viral to keep him out of harm's way. But if Fuzzy Logic plays like that again, if they get 2 good performances, it's going to be very hard to beat these guys.
Yeah, a lot of what Buck really brings to the table is execution threshold, right? Because when you run a team that has a lot of damage over distance, you run some trickle damage as well.
Yeah.
You might not necessarily have the burst to be able to secure kills, but that's what Buck is really good at achieving.
Yeah, very good at that. And I think, you know, Hecate, again, has a good game on Cassie, not this kind of crazy game. We're not seeing just 3, 4, 5 kills all the time.
A lot of misses actually from Hecate.
We are.
The aim isn't quite where it used to be, and that's something which is a little bit concerning because Cassie is effective when you're hitting all of your shots, and if you're missing a few here and there, then again you have to rely on the rest of your team to do the cleanup, and that is a dangerous situation. It's partially the map as well. Fish Market is long meta side; it's more difficult to confirm your damage, but at the same point in time, it seems like Hecate needs to maybe look towards, maybe off the Cassie towards a hit scan or something like that, where it's a little bit easier to confirm the damage over distance if that's the issue that he's got to deal with.
Honestly, you know, I think that now, as you can hear, you know, to me when I talked to him, Vox, he was very disheartened about how that set with Envy went. I mentioned that earlier. And now that he's got this win, I saw, you know, you can hear the emotion. You saw him out of his chair. Out of all those teammates, he was the one who stood up. I think he's the battery for this team, to be honest. He was at HRX when they were on stage for, what, 8 hours? And now I think that he's starting to finally get that Hecate feeling back. I mean, that's what they want. That's what they need.
Absolutely. Great minds think alike right there. Apparently neither of us by high school rules can talk for the remainder of the broadcast, folks. We're just going to stare at the camera, but oh my goodness. Now we're moving to Jaguar Falls, and this is an interesting one as well. We've now seen the Fish Market twice being played by Burrito, but Jaguar Falls actually during that HRX tournament was a map where, one of the many maps where Burrito Esports, previously Nocturne's Gaming, actually kind of drew the line and said we have to win here. Notably playing a Lian on this map Just an odd pick for more of a long line of sight-based champion who you usually expect to be playing more around mid-range.
Which is why it's good.
I'm ready for something funky here.
Yeah, I think that's why it's good, because no one's expecting Leon. You're not banning Leon. You're not really picking Leon. It's going to be available. It's a good pick for Kate. Ban Terminus. Renegades know they're going to that so often. And so they're going to take it away. And now Cassie taken away for Burrito. Will they let the Makoa go through again?
Depends on what you want to counterpick really with. I could honestly see the Makoa being left open if Burrito decided to pull out, you know, a wacky Tyra pick. Because let's be honest, even if you're running Leviathan Makoa, you're not crippled by Burn Monster,
right?
Tyra's talent, you're still taking a ton of damage based on your maximum percentage of health. That could be an interesting counterpick, counterplay there. Or alternatively, you just draft a pip into it and blow people up as soon as you see them. So there are a few different options for counterplay there. Renegades, though, they are on bank time. They do need a ban.
Yeah.
It will be the Maeve, which is unsurprising. Maeve actually banned out by Burrito last game on Fish Market.
And, you know, this is the lesser of two evils, I think, for Renegades, because if they leave the Maeve open, I think, I don't know. I think they're worried about maybe that going to Burrito somehow. And at this point in time, not wanting them to, yeah, we'll get Makoa, but then they'll be able to get Maeve.
Right, it's a difficult
and answer
situation
back.
because either you prioritize the Maeve or you're very limited in what you can take in terms of front lines. Notably, Ruckus is actually left open right now, and Bomb King is banned, so Renegades have the Makoa left open, they have the Ruckus left open right now, and I think they're going to have to go with the Makoa. That's a reliable pick for them on this map. And probably not something they want going through to Sadak, who's been playing the sort of melee-style Terminus, the super aggro in-your-face frontliner. That allows Burrito to draft a Ruckus here, and that is dangerous, alongside an Inara.
And I think that's why they banned the Bomb King, because notably, you're not looking at Renegades and saying, oh, wow, the Bomb King team. Like, they don't even really have a great blaster that has performed in the PPL for a long time. Poison, pretty much the closest one, and he could do very well on Drogos. Let's not forget that. He can play the Bomb King, but it's not what you would think. It's not an envy. But it opens up the Ruckus and the Inara, and this is just Sadak and Puleole feeling like, guys, we'll be able to make this happen for you.
Now drafting a Charlene as well. Notably, this was the champion pick which helped really turn things around for Renegades versus Chroma Space on Jaguar Falls yesterday, where they drafted the Charlene played by Loki alongside a Maldamba, which was picked up by Virals. They're sort of almost echoing their draft from that set, actually. We'll see how much that continues. A little bit of a difference with the Ruckus going the way of Burrito so far. But overall, Renegades, they're starting to strip picks away from Burrito. They're forcing out this Genos onto double frontline again.
I don't think they're forcing it, Vox. I think Burrito. I think Burrito are happy with this. I think Burrito are tricking Renegades right now. They have had opportunities to take Damba with their Stigala plenty of times.
Oh, goodness.
And honestly, I think they're just like, we're playing our own meta. We are doing our own thing. We don't need to have Genos with 3 DPS, Maldamba with Inara. We're going to do what we feel is good, and that way, you can't ban us out that way.
We're having pie, not cake on the desk today, folks, but the pip has been picked up by Renegades here. That'll put a bit of a thorn in the sides of Burrito, because they can immediately blow up an Inara if you're not careful. Fernando Immortal as well to withstand some of the pressure coming through from Ruckus and maybe a seismic crash.
Slow-mo.
I still feel like Renegades has a very solid composition, though, purely based on the fact that Mending Spirits with Maldamba with Swift Spirits in tandem can very much augment the frontline Makoa, especially in Ancient Rage, as well as this Fernando, who's going to be able to stick to targets very well. And Grover isn't the best at getting away from people if your Vine isn't able to latch onto a wall in the distance.
I mean, you know, this Grover could be interesting. It's not something we've seen a ton of for Burrito, but I think the Leon, as we mentioned, and the Buck, if Fuzzy Logic continues to have great rounds, could be all Burrito needs to push this through. Renegades fighting back, and maybe they'll give it a fighting chance here on Jaguar Falls. Otherwise, they are out of the tournament. Let's send it to our casters to find out.
Very distinct styles and strategies taken by both of these teams, but I am curious to see how Crimson's going to be on this Grover.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually seen them run this as a support, so I'm kind of curious to see how they adapt to it. This is a good map to start it out on, just because it is relatively close going through walls. Obviously helps, but this is also the map where Renegades did pull out this kind of double healer using Pip Mega Potion along with a Maldamba just to keep things alive. This is the first map they pulled it out on, and it was very successful then. I expect they're kind of hoping for that same success here, as they're just going to have a huge dump of healing to keep those front lines alive.
And having Sadak on Ruckus, Puleole on the Inara, that's going to work very well for them. A lot of comfort on the side of Burrito Esports, but you got the Makoa once more for Renegades. And then this double support composition, you're going to have to break through all of that healing as well, which you can do with your talent selection and itemization.
Definitely a healing loadout, not the 1v1 that we've been seeing a lot of Moxie 5s in a lot of loadouts lately. This is Poison, just keep everyone going, keep them alive, and keep on running. But Hecate finds first blood onto Viral. They get rid of both of the supports, although all 3 in the game have died.
There's 4 down for Renegades. All you got is a lonely turtle somewhere. And Burrito Esports, this is their time to make their impact on the actual objective, starting to move forward aggressively, maybe get some dismounts, and you see ClickU over there on the side wanting to rotate in, but also doesn't want to reveal himself too early.
And you can see the aggression. The one thing I really like, Hecate is back on this Leon. It's something that, again, it feels way more comfortable, way more at home for him with the way he plays it. So I'm excited to see it. Sadak, though, kind of caught out, but a big distraction factor. 96% for Burrito, 99. Overtime's going to go through, but Sadak's buying so much time and space.
I love it, and not to be confused with the ultimate right there. He's channeling some inner ults, but still, right now, Loki actually getting blasted despite being in stealth. Hecate cutting that off, and Burrito Esports get this capture.
Just being able to grab that and push forward. It was just such a big distraction factor in terms of Ruckus. And one of the things you had mentioned, I mean, having Ruckus and Nara the buck, Grover doesn't have to worry too much about his healing output because everyone's going to be survivable without him, along with him on top. They're going to be not necessarily unkillable, but way more focus from Renegades has to be used to get rid of any one of them.
2 minutes to spare on this push. I like the angles being taken by Burrito Esports, and also just the execution of kind of that hurry up and let's just wait, let's not dive in, let's let them try to kill us off that they had earlier that allowed them to secure that objective. It shows that they know when it's time to speed up, when it's time to back off, and actually right now Hecate, Fuzzy Logic going pretty strong. Loki picks one up onto the buck as well though, but Sadak is here and ready, popping the heat haze for Renegades. Who will he find?
He gets a good repositioning out of that as well. Enlightenment going to come out, but it misses, and Loki takes the shot, gets rid of Hecate, but the rest of the team's still standing right now. Crimson low, but Loki takes him down before he falls.
Buying enough time for the rest of the team to come back into the fight, and soon enough they will have their Shaolin available, but this payload, it's right there at the cusp of completion with a whole minute to spare and some ultimates.
And this is actually a really good timing. Burrito used a lot of ults just in that last engagement overall, but now they have plenty of time to recharge it and get back to the payload. So everything kind of coming up in their favor, but they have to deal with Loki right now. I mean, this Shaolin from the side, from the back, from wherever is hitting way too many shots to be ignored.
And that was a heat haze that he had before that could have just kind of failed or get Valiant right there. He really capitalized. Here's an Intermaid with the Whirlwind, keeping Burrito alive, throwing up the wall to try and segregate this actual fight, but Hero, he's marching on in, throwing out the fire, seismic crash right into the face, and there's Immortal to actually go ahead and answer. So Renegades losing 1, losing 2, but Burrito still standing strong before Pule falls.
20 seconds left. Fuzzy Logic, I believe, one of the only ones left now, going to be gone. Hecate doing whatever he can. All the shots are planted, not quite on the mark, and finally they get rid of him. Even with Crimson around, I feel like he shouldn't have even tried showing his face. ClickU gets rid of him. It's going to be 8 seconds left. I just do not see Burrito jumping back on this one in time.
That was a little bit of a delayed exit from Crimson, and getting 2 shots from the arrows, and then he had ClickU right in the face to be able to finish it off. So it's not like even if he did stay alive, there really would have been much of an opportunity to move in. I think Burrito was under the understanding that they had lost that chance for conversion, but still in later times you don't want to make that kind of mistake.
One of the bigger things they were able to accomplish, though, is while they ended up using, Seismic Crash, the Whirlwind, a couple more ults, Whirlwind charges relatively quickly, and the other ults that they had already used are now going to be way higher percent, but they forced Immortal, they forced Ancient Rage, they get a lot of the tools that Renegades had, and they just throw them out of the kit. You're not going to be able to find those anymore. That hammer, that screwdriver are gone.
I'm looking at the damage charts. You saw the impact that Loki had on this Shaolin during that defense, but the front line is from Burrito, trailing after.
Coming forward. It's not great when your supports are both 0-4. 0-4-5, 0-4-6, they're having their part, but they just are not surviving as much as you want. Renegades, I think, have been feeling a lot of that. And with the way they're actually going into this fight, they separate Burrito, but Burrito just get on the point.
Yeah, they went straight to the objective with Pule Ule, and then Renegades are moving as a complete unit, blocked off from one way with this impasse, but starting to rotate around through that side corridor that has the hazard zone. Nice defenses pulled up by Pule Ule, but Burrito, it's still 2 for 1.
Sadak really trading it out. Loki being able to find the kill and the trade through all that is actually better for him than it really is. Burrito having to lose their Ruckus like that, now losing Pule Ule as well. A lot of their presence here on the points just getting ripped away.
But still, 78% is a lot to be happy about, especially when there's no comeback mechanic for the opposition. Renegades, though, holding on nicely. Burrito Esports have to find the right opening. You can't just charge all willy-nilly, but Sadak has his Hexifier to pick up one, wants to pick up another, but no, Loki just blasts him.
This is going to be Hikate. You have to get in. You have to kill off Loki. There's going to be the Enlightenment. Not going to find who he wants, but it doesn't matter. 3 kills picked up. Burrito lose 2 in the process. 1 being their healer. An Ancient Rage, angry turtle right in your face.
And that can last quite a while and does manage to get a double kill, but if this actually misses those, a seismic crash, not going to hit. And then Burrito Esports 99% overtime setting on down, but ClickU, he's still here. He's still buying time for the team. The impasse comes on down, and the rest of the team starts to infiltrate, but the whirlwind to keep Burrito alive.
Immortal going to be coming through, just trying to push forward and take this back. 99% stalled out. Overtime still there. Sadak is low, though. ClickU has been alive this entire time, finally getting dismounted. But overall, everyone, they have to come back in. Burrito have to get on the point. 99 for Renegades.
So maybe without Loki there in this moment's time, it'll be enough. But there's a nice evil mojo on to Bulule, but he pops out of the chicken form and rotates back onto the objective. Fuzzy Logic and Crimson, though, falling to the hands of Loki and Hero, and Poison is still just blasting from the sideline, and Renegades take the point back.
And now they're just going to get 1 kill before this payload starts rolling. Hikate tried to slide in, but just barely missed it. Now, economy's all going to be equalized. Renegades definitely comfortable. I mean, after such a hard fight towards the end of that, taking control, that's definitely going to be a big marker on Burrito. They have to come back and rebounce from that, just from the way things went. Mentality-wise, you know you're going to feel that.
Crazy play from ClickU. That's all I gotta say. Burrito Esports, they had the 99%. ClickU was the only one alive for so long.
I'm actually really excited by this Gentle Breeze. I feel like that's a card I haven't seen too often here, and Crimson going to enable his teammates. I mean, just whenever he hits this heal, they all get aggressive. Right now, they're getting aggressive. Sadhak going to be going through. Pule getting healed up by that. Hero has the Immortal come out, but is it going to be enough? It keeps Loki alive, and he's still fragging out.
Pops up the shield as soon as he sees fit, and facing off against Sadak, but Sadak's pretty taking himself, actually dishing back a decent amount, not actually focusing on Hero, though, and ends up paying his life for it.
Coming around the corner. This is probably one of the harder spots. Once you get onto this rock road into the base, it's a lot harder on Jaguar Falls to find the full push. You need to get this payload kind of rolling up that hill very fast. You have a seismic crash. Whirlwind, I believe, was just popped to keep everyone topped off, so now it's going to be a little bit rougher. Renegades Hero specifically getting low.
That Whirlwind was mostly intended for Pule, it seems, because he was falling low, but now he's back, still staying strong on this defense, and able to move forward with Sadak. This aggression that is possible when you circle around and actually punish Renegades for their forward positioning. That's what you want to see from the defense. But Burrito Esports, they're still actually the ones that are losing, and in turn, they get punished after using those ults.
When both of these supports stay alive, or at least one of them stays alive, it's going to be a lot harder to kill off these front lines. It's just impossible, as it has been right now, to get rid of Loki. He's been doing so much for his team, just kills left and right. The damage output he has been insane.
Oh goodness, 3 burritos down, boy. Renegades all ultimates available. Loki on the 10 streak, raining the shots into the back of the heads. ClickU, Viral, Loki, Poison, all picking up kills, and this is 3-1 for Renegades.
Now I'm curious to see how Renegades are going to approach this fight. They're in this area where Burrito, if they can get back to the point the way they did before, they're going to be completely happy, because Comeback Mechanic and Inara, they go hand in hand as a free point as long as you don't get displaced. And you can kind of see, I feel like they're figuring out, how do we go about this? Each time they've killed off the supports, they kill off the healers, and then Loki just comes through and just wrecks 1, 2, maybe 3 members. You have 3 people you have to kill, and you have to decide which one's the highest priority.
I want to see what pathing both these teams decide to execute at the start of this round, because last time Burrito, they spread themselves, they sent Pule to the objective. Renegades, they traveled as a unit and then got some collapse upon, but even when they were managing to turn things around, Burrito Esports had gotten such an impact on the objective. But here, actually, it looks like Renegades are splitting up a little bit.
They made the call immediately. They saw Inara on the point. Fuzzy Logic by himself. That's going to be a kill. They get rid of the Buck. That's twice now. He's been isolated at the beginning of a round and cost them to fight a 4v5 on the side of Burrito.
Oh no, and actually Burrito, so many of them forced to back off, but Sadak gets the kill onto Loki, and you heard the ultimate popping off by Pule. But here's the Ancient Rage swinging at Sadak, doesn't close out the kill, misses the hook onto Hikate, so Hikate is still staying alive, gets some nice shots in, and there's the Enlightenment, finishes it off. Poison gets eliminated and Pule Ule with the double kill.
And that was exactly what they needed. That Enlightenment was going to do one of two things. It was either going to find the kill, but it mainly just keeps Hecate alive. It allows someone to come and save him and keep him rolling. So as long as this Leon's around, it's going to be an ever-present threat. Comeback mechanic and Nara, again, they go hand in hand. You get the point. A little bit rougher, I think, than Burrito really would have wanted, but definitely the way with them pulling ahead, if they can find this, tie it up, feel a little bit more comfortable.
And some pressure taken off at this point since Renegades cannot win on the defense. So even if you lose it, you still go into the next one 3-2 with half a comeback mechanic available. But I'm sure they would love to put this just in a single capture type situation. And right now when you're under that 2-minute mark and Burrito's made decent leeway so far and you're expecting maybe one good team fight moment from Renegades where they actually managed to push back a bit, there's still plenty of time for a couple of those instances to happen.
This is going to be one of the more interesting moments. Now these rockets doing so much, these miniguns doing a lot, but Fuzzy Logic, Hecate are dead. Even with a ruckus, that's just not enough carry potential on the side of Burrito left alive to be able to accomplish too much in terms of push, but a minute and a half, that's plenty of time.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I expected. There was going to be a moment where Renegades, you're in your home turf. You have ways that you can actually hide yourself as soon as Burrito comes through those entry passages. And they got a couple kills for it. The rest of Burrito had to back up. But that's fine. You're about to hit a single minute. You have a lot of ultimates, but this is always that hard decision because you want to save them for the potential capture next round.
And in reality, that's the perfect time. You die right then. You have time to recharge your ult, but you have time to buy some items once you die off of that, especially with that point capture. So you just got a large influx, really, of credits and allows you to come back. Sadhak gets rid of Loki, and that's going to make it so much easier to start this push.
Whirlwind following up on the Evil Mojo from the opposite end. Hecate rotates around, starts to rain some shots into the backs of Moorheads, and Viral eliminated by Fuzzy Logic. 3 off to the wayside by Renegades, and the rest of them are here ready to fight, but Click, you can't do that for long. It's just a lonely low-key, and that's not enough.
And that was the perfect stagger as well. They waited just a little bit, not so much that people could respawn and potentially save Click. We're going to wait 2, 3, 4 seconds, kill Click you, then Loki's left alone. Now they're starting to get some respawns, but we have plenty of space to move the payload on in, no issues. You can see they're focused onto this line, 3-3. And the last time they were even, it got 99% for them before they got dismounted, and Renegades ended up taking the point away.
We saw some enthusiasm for Hecate in that moment. Immediately go into all their cams, and you can bang on that table. That's fine.
Slam it as hard as you want. Don't break it, though.
Yeah,
the bill might be mad.
Well, we'll put the limit right there, but that's the enthusiasm that seems to be driving Burrito, even when you're in a 3-1 situation, able to bring it back to 3-3.
Being able to stay alive, get in, get out. Hecate, his mobility, I think, is one of the bigger things right here. Haven keeping him alive. He's got the Wrecker to eat through a lot of these shields. There's a lot that can go on for him, but he has been a very big priority, along with, when it comes down to it, Crimson, who, as long as he's alive, it makes it a lot harder to kill off the Inara, to kill off the Ruckus, to kill off anybody. Fuzzy Logic, though, has been the first blood each time. This time, it's Sada.
And you heard the Heat Haze pop by Loki. I wonder which targets he's going to go for. Everybody on Burrito responding by backing up and out. But Pule Ule managed to get 48% onto the objective. Immortal popped by Nando, and Pule Ule rotating back onto the point with a hero right behind him. But he's not his hero. He's going to be his anti-hero with the seismic crash into the face. But Pule Ule, he gives his life for it.
Now getting aggressive. Click, you going to have the Ancient Rage, going to get the full health right there. Enlightenment does get rid of Viral, though. That's going to be the main target. Hecate dies for it, but both the supports are down now with one more kill. Fuzzy Logic out of there, and there's no one for Burrito to be seen.
Loki's just going crazy on this Shaolin. Earlier on in the game, had a bit of silence during that last round, but he's back. And that ultimate's already at 50% as well. If he decides to pop it again at any point, Burrito Esports, they're ready to focus, but actually a Dread Serpent activated and forced to back off.
87-84 right now. They need to get in, but Pule Ule's going down. They get rid of Poison, but it's not going to be enough. Loki coming around the side. A couple of shots, a beautiful hook, and they get rid of Fuzzy Logic.
It's 2 for 2 right now in overtime. It finishes off, but not in the favor of Renegades for the game. So Doc, they get 2 kills. It's the Rampage overtime sending once more. 99 on both sides, and Burrito Esports looking strong. Poison attempting to get onto the objective, but it is not enough. And Burrito boys making that victory, setting themselves further within the bracket and sending Renegades home.
Immediately up, immediately out of the seat, immediately excited. I mean, this one was going to be rough, and that was a long game. And that was tail end. I mean, that was Crimson and Hecate left on the point alone, really worried because there is a Makoa and a Loki who have just been shooting at them, draining them that entire time. being able to take that fight. You can see Renegades appropriately disappointed.
Yeah, looking defeated, not just in the game, but morale and everything for your team. Put up a fight, and it looked like there was a potential for it to go to another game, but unfortunately, Burrito, when it mattered, they were there.
I mean, I want to watch like the last 45 seconds of that entire thing just over again, because it was one of those moments. I mean, you hit 99 and just jump on it, get the overtime, jump on it, get the overtime. Just barely picking up kills as Burrito, but then they just ride the momentum. They get 1, they get 2, and Loki, as strong as he was, as much as he did on that shot lane, it wasn't enough for just him to be the one remaining.
And the thing is, Renegades, they've had an emotional roller coaster coming in through the regular season of the PPL, having some major adjustments to their roster, having those moments where people think, can Renegades do it? Can they actually be the next team? But unfortunately for them, Burrito have thrived, and let's send it over to the desk to see what they have to say.
What a finish. I mean, I want to see a replay, and I don't care if you throw it on while I'm talking. I don't care if whatever happens of those last 45 seconds. That was incredible. Most of us were screaming, okay, we're going to game 3, and all of a sudden, you see the Renegades coach in the hall. It's heartbreak. He almost breaks into tears.
You have been debated, everybody, because all of a sudden Nakata comes back into the fight, presses E. Oh, look, I can press E again. And double enlightenment is just a disgusting thing to see. But a big question for me as well, and Hi-Rez Pretty Hair has just put this out on Twitter as well, folks. He's going, did Hero misclick the Immortal?
He might have.
Do we see a Fat Finger Immortal come through? But oh my goodness, this last 45 seconds or so is so clutch.
What happens here, he gets that big kill onto Viral, and then he gets a double there onto Hero, and that is what changes the tide. Whenever anyone gets a double kill in those moments, it is very, very, very vital that it can shift pretty much the healing dynamic, especially when it becomes one of your supports. That's the second time as well that he kills Poison. The first time, he actually kills, Akate kills, I think, Poison with the Enlightenment, or it's And so that burst healing is what was extending a lot of the fights for Renegades. It's why ClickU was able to take over that round that looked won for them after that incredible Ancient Rage. So, I mean, it was a great play from them, but great target prioritization and great execution from Burrito to put that away.
It really was, and overall just proving the fact that I'd love to see a longer set between these two teams. I think that this one could be one that flip-flops back and forth between them all, but really interesting drafting as well. We didn't necessarily expect the solo Grover to be quite as successful as it was. A lot of movement speed actually, boosting people around on that as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have been maybe augmenting the way in which they're able to reposition Burrito Esports specifically around this Grover, so you have that burst heal, and then all of a sudden that's your go button. It's the go in, go in, go in, and then whirlwind afterwards.
It's really, I mean, it's amazing. You saw, just getting around those corners, how much efflorescence was impacting them, and there's almost nowhere where you're not getting a heal in the range of Jaguar Falls.
Grover's just kind of there. You plant the tree on the point, and you go, okay, I exist here now.
Let it bloom. Let it blossom, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And as we did see the thriving nature of this Grover take a precedent for the way that Burrito were able to get that victory. It turns out that they are now moving forward, and Renegades will be going home. It's unfortunate because, you know, they gave so much to this tournament. They get a lot of representatives here. They're a great team. And you know, also, they weren't supposed to be here, but when they did get a chance to come here, they came here with confidence and with an intention to win. And I like that.
They did. They didn't come into this going, you know what, it's a nice boon. It's a bonus to us. And going, no, this is something we're going to embrace. We're going to really take it in our stride. Also, a quick shout, nobody has guessed correctly which Game of Thrones character Renegades is as well. So the challenge is still open on my Twitter. I'll retweet that in just a second, folks, after this set is done. If you'd like to have a guess and see who you think they are, or they were.
Or they were.
Or they were. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a good one to note that. We all did Game of Thrones characters. And now as we've obviously got some more information on who will be still a contender for the throne here at the Paladins Masters in Atlanta, we see Burrito will be moving on. It was a close one versus Gangstars. It was an even closer one in that last point versus Renegades, and now they will await the winner of match 1, which is either going to be Na'Vi or Space Station Gaming. Tough, because Na'Vi are the team that knocked them out in Worlds and are looking so good, and Space Station Gaming is also the team that's their scrim partners. So
you could see that sort of semifinals Worlds rematch coming through as well. But again, I mean, Burrito have been saying nothing but excellent stuff about Space Station, and we saw that demonstrated yesterday as well.
Right.
It doesn't matter who is going to be up. I mean, for starters, that upper bracket match is going to be one where we see Sparks absolutely flying.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the following match is in the lower bracket, goodness me,
I don't know.
Things are going to melt around us. I don't know how to handle it, man.
They are. This whole desk is going to start melting right now. It's
everything here is on fire.
Yeah.
This is fine.
and I think I'm going to feel that way when Na'Vi, SSG, or Burrito have to go home. because
Pretty much.
tomorrow is a best of 3, and it's either Na'Vi, Burrito, or SSG going home. And those 3 teams are not only fan favorites, but they're tournament favorites as far as how they've been playing. So, I mean, that's a match to keep your eye on. And for sure, this match coming up between Na'Vi and SSG a little bit later in the day, that's a match that you just cannot miss. And I would not suggest going anywhere. Definitely get your bathroom breaks, your chips, all that stuff beforehand.
Well, let's talk a little about that as well, because one of those teams, as you said, will be going home. That puts a lot of stress on these players for their upcoming games. Sure,
Yeah.
most of them are taking them one at a time, but you do have to wonder to yourselves, is that impacting the way in which they're now feeling? And as I hear, we do have an interview ready, Evan. I mean, I wonder if that's going to be also on their minds now they've finally got this Renegades game out of the way.
So true. Renegades, they're going home, but who's not? Burrito. Let's listen to them and see what they have to say about their win.
The Burrito boys continuing to break through the bracket victory over Renegades. So first, I just want to get your thoughts on how Renegades played within that match.
I mean, they were playing really good. They were tough matches. Like, everybody knows the Renegade roster. Lucky's an excellent DPS player, so it was insane, you know?
Yeah, they played really good. We we figured out that they were playing together like a unit.
Yeah, like you need. They were smart. They were waiting
Yeah.
everything that we were doing. They were looking on physiologic, where it's going. Like they were so patient, especially the Makoa was so patient. So we knew that they were going to waste time waiting for us. So we just kept in the point, and that's how we play every single middle.
Yeah, even though we knew that, it was hard to know to counter that. You know, it's
1 second that you miss the Makoa, you're done. You know.
Yeah.
I'll say I noticed that on Jaguar Falls. They were just riding around together for the first 30 seconds. They almost dove your base looking for fuzzy logic. But you guys, Poules, you specifically, you were able to punish them pretty hard with Inara there. But I want to talk about this really weird Immortal at the very end of the game.
Oh.
You guys completely disengaged. Immortal comes out on the point, and you get hooked in. What's going through your mind? Are you confused about what's happening?
Yeah, we didn't know. I know it was a misclick, but then I wanted to engage because of that misplay, and I wanted to punish them for that.
It was like I think Sadak got he was dead, so we need to step up, where is the Jaguar, and then suddenly we hear I will not die, not yet amigo, and we were like, what is going on? So once they used that and Sadak already responded and was coming, was like, okay, let's engage. Then he got hooked, and then it was a fight.
Yeah, I think there was a miscommunication in the retake because I got so easily to the point. I don't know what happened. I thought I was going right, but I got to main, and I think we got plenty of time because of that, and that's why we won the point.
You had mentioned that Loki was playing really well. Was there something specific? Because throughout that game, there were so many times Renegades would push you guys back, and it's just him picking up kills. Towards the end of it, were you trying to get to him specifically, or were you just running with the same strategy?
I mean, we were not focusing him especially. Like, we didn't have a target. Like, we prioritize support, DPS, tank. We see who is in a bad position. But I mean, when you know that they have a really good DPS, you need to take care of him. He has some kind of priority, but I think on that match, I couldn't focus him at all because as a Lian, with the legendary card Death and Taxes, you want to focus the Pip, for example. You want to focus the tanks so they cannot get the overhealing. So you need to be kind of aggressive, Lian, to make it work. More if they have 2 shields. So that was all. It wasn't one pick that I wanted to finish.
Last question for you. If you had to choose between Na'Vi or SSG as your next opponent, who would it be?
I want Navi because of the rematch, and I want the Space Station Gaming to make it to finals.
Yeah,
because they are our screen partners and really like them.
There's 2 things that I would love to say. Like, I know Space Station Gaming since the beginning. Before being there, I know where all they make through, like we did. Everybody were underestimating them, and now I feel so good for them. I feel so good for my team. What we're making proud Burrito. That was my concern. There were a lot of people saying that we cannot defeat a PGS team. Now we proved that wasn't true.
for me and for my team, we would love to face in finals Space Station Gaming and us, because it will be awesome and we will be showing the world that LATAM and Brazil has the same level as every single region.
Brazil versus Argentina, you know, it's a classic in football.
Any dance moves before we send it back to the desk? No, not today?
No. Just in the set.
It's at the set. You have to feel it.
Yeah, you really have to. Can you feel me, man? But we're going to go send it back over to the desk. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Killing spree, overtime, double kill. Killing